Alright, so I'm here with my fourth video investigation on the MH17 plane tragedy. In this one, I'm not using any articles. I'm not even going to talk about the plane crash, really. But I just want to talk about previous times the government has lied to us. And, just because the government says something doesn't mean it's true. And doesn't mean we should believe it right away or not question it. So, let's go over the slew of lies they told us. They lied about, and these are just like main ones. There's tons of other ones. They lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. They lied about ties to Al Qaeda in Iraq. They lied about Gulf of Tonkin. I'm gonna go back years and years, 100 years even. They lied about the Lusitania attack. That was more of the media too, but it was still a lie. They lied about the attacking of the USS Maine in, I believe it was Cuba, which got us into war with Spain. I mean, even over 100 years ago, they were still doing lies to get us into wars. Um, yeah, Gulf of Tonkin, as I said, and even the 9/11, they lied. I mean, when they say, oh, we could never, we never knew this was coming. We had no idea when, Abel Danger had identified some of the terrorists, the August 6th memo, clearly that was titled Obama, I believe it was Obama determined to strike in U.S., and it basically said Obama, or did I say Obama? I meant Osama wanted to strike. Osama determined to strike in U.S. And it basically said Osama wants to use planes to run him into buildings in New York. So they clearly had evidence and knowledge of the attacks, and even Thomas Drake, I believe Thomas Drake, an NSA whistleblower, says we could have stopped 9/11 pretty easily. I believe he said too. Uh, Snowden was even saying how he could have stopped 9/11. I believe that's what he said when he was on Brian Williams. Um, so I mean 9/11. I mean, clearly we could have stopped it. Yet they say, oh no, we never knew it was coming. We had no idea. So yeah, and those are just some of the times the government has lied to us. I mean, Obama said we could keep our doctor. It's been a lie. Um, he said he would close Gitmo. It's still open. He said he would end the wars. They're still going on. He didn't end the wars, even though he said he did. Just false promises. Or George H.W. Bush saying, no new taxes. What do you say? Mark my words. Or he said, read my lips, no new taxes. Oh, but we get new taxes. Uh, so yeah, I mean, the government has lied to us so many times. So when they tell us something, why would we believe them? Seriously, why? Like, the first thing I think of when a government tells me something is, is it true? I think, I doubt them actually. Like, when they tell me something, a lot of the times, I doubt them. Like, I don't even think, the first thing that goes into my mind is, like, oh, that's probably not true. Or, I start questioning it. And the first suspect when a terror attack happens or something, like a shooting happens, or like this MH17 is downed happens, it should be a government or an inside that's what your first thought should be, because a majority of events, um, there's there's a ton of evidence to prove that a ton of these big events like 9/11 are staged or carried out by the government. So, I mean, you should always question your government. Your government isn't, infallible, which means, rather than the word infallible when they talk about the Pope, because they say whatever the Pope says is true. Um, the government is not infallible. You know, the government should be questioned. We should question the government. That's what people do. I just watch people. I feel so bad for them. You know, like when I see a mass of people, you know, I think, geez, these people are probably not even, or at least the majority of them are probably not awake to government corruption. I just look at them and I feel bad for them. But I look at them and I just think, look at all these sheep. You know, probably most of them are sheep. Sometimes I just can't help but think that. Especially when I walk into a place like Walmart. Like I went with my dad to Walmart. And I look at all these people, probably sheep, you know, probably just buying a bunch of, some of them, not saying all of them, some of them buying a bunch of, you know, sugary, fatty foods, you know, getting all fat. And, you know, it is a shame to see, you know, fat people overweight. Oh, I'm sorry, fat's an offensive word. Let me call them over. Oh no, overweight's an offensive word too. You know, it's like, oh, let me call them obese. Oh, that's too offensive too. You know, you can't just call them what they are. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, I'm not making fun of fat people, but it's a shame to see them, you know, and I just encourage them to eat healthy, lose weight, and wake up to the new world order trying to, you know, and these corrupt politicians just feeding you GMO poison pretty much, and stop eating at like these McDonald's and Burger Kings and Wendy's, because it's killing you literally. It's sad. You know, I would just wish more people would wake up. Like I go to school and it's like most people seem so asleep. They need to be fucking waking up. They're just too busy talking about LeBron James or other shit. I mean, maybe they are awake, but it's like if you are awake and you know 9/11 was an inside job and you know that the government is corrupt, I mean, you're ridiculed. You're looked upon as evil or a traitor or a conspiracy theorist. Um, you know, especially if you are younger, you know, like because kids, like teenagers, they just think the whole world's about sports. They don't give a shit about politics. So even if you do care about politics and you do play into the New World Order system of politics, you are still looked upon as like stupid. But if you are actually awake, then you're just ridiculed so much. Like, oh, you're so stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, and it's just like you're almost ashamed. And I feel the same way. Like, I don't want to tell people I think 9/11 was an inside job because I'm afraid I'm going to be thought differently by other people. Um, you know, it's like I don't want other people to, you know, think of me like differently because I think 9/11 was an inside job. But people, you gotta fucking wake up. Wake up. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, all this other shit's happening and people are just still concentrating on LeBron James and other shit. Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, Katy Perry. The list goes on. And the government has lied so much. So that's why we cannot believe them when they tell us something. Or, we at least gotta question them on shit. So, you know, I'm gonna wrap up my video on this MH17. This is gonna be the last one, I think. So there's my investigation. You know, the first three were pretty much looking at articles, looking at the actual evidence. This last one was just talking about how the government has lied so much. So we cannot trust our American government to provide a legitimate investigation to this. We should use private contractors for the investigation, not government, because if they lied about something, they're not going to say they lied. They're not going to cover their ass. They're going to cover their asses. They're not going to fucking tell us they lied. So we should hire private investigators for this, and we should not rely on the government or the Ukrainian government to investigate this. or the Russian government to investigate this, because we should rely on an unbiased group of people to investigate this. So there you go, people. There's my investigation. What do you think happened? If you got any other information, because it's pretty much impossible to look up all the other information. If you have any other information about this, tell me, comment it. Tell me who you think did it. Answer some of my questions, maybe. Why was the plane uh, directed over, why did it fly over a war zone? Why was it flying at 33,000 feet? Answer my questions or give hypotheses to these questions. Theories, another word for hypothesis if you don't know what that means. So there you go, people. There's my video on MH17. Again, if you have any comments, just comment them below. Don't be afraid. I'm always open to comments. I'm pro First Amendment. I'm like Hillary Clinton. So there you go, people. There's my video, and this is again concluding my video series on the MH17 investigation. So there you go, people. Oh, and me, I think I'm better, at investigating shit than the fucking government is. So, I just figured I would investigate MH17 because the government probably isn't a good source of investigation for this shit. So, there you go, people. There's my investigation on MH17.